already hard to not turn it into a belief. Now imagine a version where it's like, you must believe.
Oh yeah.
You're not believing hard enough. Believe. You know, and you're like, I can't believe any harder. I find that one of the things I like about this teaching is the freedom of like you coming to your own decision, your own conclusions, and giving your own choice, and not being like it shoved down your throat. I really like that, and I feel like that is kind of like the beauty of real truth, is that truth is going to be what it's going to be, and no amount of
resisting it,
forcing it in there is going to make it happen. So you know, you just, whenever you're ready, whenever you want to come see, it's here. All right, modern day mystics, fellow truth seekers, we're back for part 2 of Finding God Without Faith, done by Swami Tadatmananda. Did I get that right? I think so. But yeah, the first part, we kind of went through the longer segment in part 1. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. We're going to jump right into part 2 of this reaction video and keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, we've just finished describing Ishvara with the help of a precise scholarly definition. We also used a series of metaphors to better understand the source and creator of the universe. In that whole discussion, what were you asked to believe? Nothing. Nothing at all. That's what I find so remarkable about Advaita Vedanta. Its teachings make extensive use of reason to present Ishvara as a reality to be understood, a truth to be discovered, a supreme being who can actually be known and not remain merely as a matter of belief.
And it's hard to still not turn it into a belief, but look at the vast difference between that, where he's like saying, listen, nobody suggested you believe it. It's already hard to not turn it into a belief. Now imagine a version where it's like, you must believe.
Oh yeah.
You're not believing hard enough. Believe. You know, and you're like, I can't believe any harder. I find that one of the things I like about this teaching is the freedom of like you coming to your own decision, your own conclusions, and giving your own choice, and not being like it shoved down your throat. I really like that, and I feel like that is kind of like the beauty of real truth, is that truth is going to be what it's going to be, and no amount of
resisting it,
forcing it in there is going to make it happen. So you know, you just, whenever you're ready, whenever you want to come see, it's here. You know, whenever you're so. I'm interested to see where he's going to take this, though.
Now, in the final part of this presentation, let's consider some possible shortcomings in Vedanta's highly rational approach to Ishvara that rejects belief. When you think about it, Vedanta's logic and reason don't seem very helpful if you want to cultivate intense emotions of love and reverence for Ishvara. The precise definition we've discussed doesn't seem to directly lead to a practice of heartfelt prayer, veneration, and worship. After all, no one prays to a material and efficient cause. We pray to an all-powerful and all-knowing Supreme Being. Most Hindu traditions that emphasize devotion, bhakti, are not based on scholarly Vedantic teachings. Instead, they're based on devotional teachings associated with mythological stories, stories about forms of Ishvara like Krishna, Shiva, Vishnu, and Ganesha. Most of those stories are found in the Puranas, where gods and goddesses are elaborately portrayed, together with their divine attributes.
What happens if I pray to nothing? What happens if I don't pray?
I think inside this tradition you might be allotted that. You know, I don't know what happens. You know, well, there's lots of people that don't pray, and so the life that they get would be.
What if it's hard to learn how to stop praying?
Yeah, if you've been taught to like pray to something, yeah, it might be hard to stop. But
right, and the more I find that the more intense a situation is, or the more chaotic or the more terrifying a situation, the more likely the person's going to be almost involuntarily praying. They're going to be crying out even if they never believed in God. Maybe they're, imagine like a war-torn battlefield. Somebody, this classic scene of grown men being like, "Mama!" or like, "God help me!" Now, if you can get, that's in an insane situation, right?
yeah,
But it's not insane right now. This isn't insane. We're not in that.
yeah.
I don't think you're kind of a piece of crap if you're judging someone for praying in a situation like that. And you're a piece of crap if you're judging anyone. I got to deal with my own crappy, petty behavior for being judgmental. But getting back to the point that I'm trying to make in terms of prayer, what if you don't, why pray? What is it doing? Is that really a grounded approach to, does God pray to himself?
Well, when you pray,
What's the purpose?
If you pray, maybe it helps you, maybe it doesn't help you.
Give me guidance.
Oh.
Give me guidance, protect me.
Maybe the prayer is more for just your sake than it is for God to cosmically answer you.
But what if prayers get in the way? What if your prayers even praying something like guide me or protect me? What if that gets in the way of
that? Or maybe there's a time that, it's needed, and maybe there's a time where it's not needed. What if some people should be praying and some people shouldn't be praying?
Well, I believe that is the case. Yeah. I believe that if you see a room full of 500 people with their heads bowed, all facing the same direction, that's nonsense. I don't believe that because it's happening. So that means it's on purpose and should be the case. I'm talking about a very advanced form of spirituality where you realize my prayers are getting in the way of acceptance. My prayers are getting in the way of self-realization. There's nothing to... what am I doing here?
Yeah, but again...
I'm already it.
Yeah, but again...
I'm already everything I could ever pray for.
You're also putting something onto that. So
right.
Again...
Yep, that's true.
So there's... I think there's layers to it. I think sometimes it's... it's going to be what it's going to be. I think sometimes...
it is what it is.
Yeah. So if you're doing it, maybe you need it.
Yeah.
If you're not doing it, maybe you don't need it.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Right.
I think so.
Let's continue.
Their supernatural deeds and their extraordinary blessings bestowed on sincere devotees. Those Puranic stories can certainly inspire intense devotional feelings, especially in Hindus who grew up listening to such stories. But for many, including spiritual seekers like me who were not raised in Hindu families, those stories often fail to provide a strong foundation for devotional practices. So we can ask, is it possible to develop intense feelings of devotion to Ishvara without believing in those stories of gods and goddesses? Is it possible to develop devotion through spiritual knowledge alone? Absolutely. In the Bhagavad Gita and elsewhere, knowledge of Ishvara is extolled as a powerful means for cultivating devotion. For example, in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says quite plainly, "The wise realize my divine nature and worship me with devoted hearts. After gaining knowledge of me as the imperishable source of all beings." But how can mere knowledge of Ishvara possibly lead to intense emotions of love and reverence? Well, consider this. In India, many couples are wedded as a result of arranged marriages. For this reason, it's not unusual for newly married couples to hardly know each other. But over a period of time, they come to know each other better and better. And as that knowledge grows deeper, their feelings of love and intimacy also grow deeper. This example suggests that as your knowledge of Ishvara grows deeper and deeper, you can indeed cultivate intense emotions of love and reverence. That was certainly my experience. As a young man who was allergic to religion, I wasn't inclined to believe anything whatsoever. Not surprisingly, when I began to study Advaita Vedanta, the mythological stories in the Puranas didn't attract me at all. Back then, I admitted to a fellow student, "I don't have a devotional bone in my body." Yet, over a period of years, I gradually developed a rich and meaningful prayer life. For decades now, most of my mornings begin with prayer, puja, and meditation on Ishvara.
I think that is like a common thing with like all people, where you, whether it's in religion or just an appreciation of like reality, the world and stuff like that. As you get older and you experience more, you seem to get that appreciation. And like, I feel like when it comes to spirituality, God, religion, stuff like that, all the stuff that we've been looking at, I feel like the more I dive into it, the more I study it and just kind of like let it like marinate. I feel like you tend to get a greater appreciation and love for it. And even people who aren't like religious, I feel it's like they seem to hold a greater regard for like what's going on the longer time goes on. I don't know. I'm sure you probably noticed some of that, right?
Believe it or not, I'm not sure what you mean.
Like a. You
I'm
create,
not trying
like,
to be.
No. I'm just saying, like with like the face, like even looking at this guy, right? As a younger person, I probably would have not given the attention even to like even that little statue that was beside him and stuff like that. Just like taking that in, the stuff that he's talking about here. I find it's fascinating and rich, and it's like I don't know,
Okay,
just
I
a
think
greater
I know what
appreciation
you mean.
for.
I think I know what you mean. Okay, so let's say you were. Can I just give an example?
Yeah, sure.
So, let's say that you're a young person and you want to be popular or something, and you see some like bad kid that's popular, and you're like, and then you've got another kind of timid friend that that you start to ignore because you want to gain the respect of the popular kid, only for you to befriend that person and they betray you, and then the other guy's like, "Hey man, I'm still here," and now you cherish that person that you didn't initially see the value in.
Yeah, seeing value in things that you didn't see before that
Yep.
were always there.
Yep.
But like as a young man, I didn't notice.
Oh yeah, no, it's like yeah, for sure. And I think that's sometimes the power of just alleviating. What if there's a suffering so deep that the alleviation of it, baseline normal reality, feels mystical and beautiful. You're like, "Oh my God, I've been to hell. I've been to hell." You don't realize the gift that life is.
Yeah.
It's, maybe something like that too,
Yeah.
which is kind of a downer way to put it, but
Yeah. And again, you can always go with the positive root of that.
yeah.
But how could heartfelt bhakti like that take root in a hyper-rational non-believer like me? Well, studying Sri Krishna's teachings in the Bhagavad Gita has probably helped me more than anything else. Other Vedantic teachings have also helped a lot. like the dream metaphor we discussed before. With the help of all those teachings, I've gradually come to feel that the world around me is truly a divine manifestation of Ishvara. Everything I see, hear, taste, smell, and touch seems to be endowed with divinity. When I go for a walk on the beautiful trails behind our ashram, I feel like I'm walking through Ishvara, as if I'm surrounded by Ishvara, or embraced by him, so to speak. My own body and mind also seem like divine manifestations of Ishvara. With age, they take on a unique kind of beauty, like a favorite old book that you still treasure in spite of all its loose pages and its broken binding. When I teach a class or work on producing a video like this one, I feel so grateful for the skills and intelligence that Ishvara has given me. When I start a new project, I know that the outcome of my efforts will be determined by Ishvara, according to his intelligent order that governs the universe. During morning puja, the deities on my little altar connect me to a divinity that's immeasurably vast and infinitely powerful. And when I close my eyes for prayer or meditation, I can sense that beyond the manifestation.
You know how fun it would be to have little deity statues around with candles that you like to jingle a bell around? You know how fun that would be if you could get out of your own way and just enjoy it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Or let your imagination take hold and be like, what if these things are like, a glimpse into an alternate dimension not yet seen by my cynical human eyes?
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it,
we're,
man.
We're controlled kind of by like our cultures. It looks like obviously he has no problem with it. And there's people I've seen like celebrations of other religions. Like the Muslims who do that thing where they go to that giant block and like hundreds of them go around that giant square thing, which I don't understand any of it, but gonna have to learn about it. And then Christians do it when they take communion, and he does it when he does, you can get into whatever. The sad thing is that we kind of get controlled by our cultures, even in like our families and our friends, right? It's weird. It's out of touch with everyone if you start doing it sometimes. That's why I've heard other teachers and gurus be like, whatever you're born into, like, do that thing. Go enjoy it because sometimes it can cause problems. And I'm not saying I necessarily agree with that. Because look at us. We kind of like dive into like all types of different things.
But I noticed
who I am.
I noticed a weird thing about like Zen gardens. I used to be into them, and I would be like, got them for the purpose of getting relaxed. But it was almost like I got to a point where it was like, I can't get what I want. I want to be the Zen garden. I want to be that serene and, as the thing I'm trying to cultivate here, instead I'm like obsessive about making sure it's perfect, right?
Yeah.
If you can just loosen everything about it that it's supposed to be and enjoy it for the way it is. Now the earth is Disneyland. Yeah. And it is, like he's talking about, kind of a mystical place. We threw a lot of different things there. Try to sort through everything we said and make some sense of it. We mean well.
That's right. Let's let him wrap up.
Of Ishvara that surrounds me and sustains me, there's an even greater reality. A reality that transcends the universe, like a dreamer transcends his dream world. Now, I have to admit that I don't always feel such a profound sense of being intimately connected to Ishvara. Each day, there are many times when I get distracted or absorbed in mundane matters, and I temporarily lose that sense of Ishvara's divine presence. After all, I'm a normal human being, not a great saint. But that profound sense of intimacy is always accessible. It's always available. It only takes a moment of prayerful reflection. Ishvara is never more than one thought away. I've just shared some very personal observations about myself. My intention here is not to demonstrate any kind of spiritual accomplishment, but rather to make a particular point. And the point is, if someone as unlikely as me can develop a rich and meaningful prayer life with the help of Vedanta's teachings, then anyone can. Such is the power of these teachings.
Well, there you have it. That was pretty good. I like what he said right at the end there, that Ishvara is like one thought away. Like, if you just, take some time, get out of your own craziness, and just, try to like focus on God or whatever it is, the peace or whatever it is you're trying to manifest, or pray about in your life, one thought away. Appreciate the effort that guy put into explaining all that. Yeah. So he's very, very, very clear. I liked the clarity in which he brought that. And you can go check him out on the Ashra Bodha YouTube channel. That was Swami Tadatmananda. And thanks for the guy who recommended we watch this video. If you did like this video, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend, and everybody, until next time, stay spiritual.